to Evergreen Media Network. I am Cindy Schwartz, and this is the Martha Matters Show. We're broadcast on 107.9 FM. We're also podcast, and this is live stream on Facebook and YouTube. Now here she is, your host, Martha.
Well, hi there, and welcome. This is part 2. I talked last time about stents, what they are, and how they work. And I want to really go into what bypass surgery entails, and then again make a comparison of the two different procedures. Now, with a bypass, what they do is they remove a small portion of a vein from one of your legs. It's a small to medium size, not a major vessel, and put the two ends together, and they use that little piece of vein that they removed to literally bypass the clogged area of your heart vein or artery. And what they do is they clamp off that artery momentarily where the blockage is, 70% to 100% blockage. They cut that out, and they replace it with the vein they removed from your leg, and then sew up both ends, and that is it. And a double bypass or triple bypass, they just take out a larger vessel from your leg, not larger in size, larger in length, and cut it into 2 or 3 pieces and replace each of those blocked contributory arteries or veins.
I got a question about that, Martha, what someone had said to me, too, about having that surgery. They use the veins in your legs because they are less likely to be rejected. Is that correct?
Yes, because it's your own DNA,
right?
Your own cells. So your body had, just like a skin wound, your body will repair where it's been sewn together and will make the best of it, but it will never be rejected because it's your own cells and your own DNA. It's not somebody else's. And that's a very, very important thing. It won't tamper with your immune system.
Yeah, it is a big deal. It's a wonder that they thought to do that, honestly.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Now, the big thing with bypass surgery, and you know from the way I described it, the recovery is anywhere from a month to 3 months. Now, for those of you that have active and heavy employment, your heavy work employment, I should say, physical work, you may be out for a full 3 months. Now, that doesn't mean bedridden. They don't want you to do that. You only get weaker by staying in bed. But you've got to stay home. Take it easy, walk around the house every day, do a couple of more chores like wash the dishes or put them away or whatever, and slowly get better. And so your legs work normally, your arms work normally. That all helps for your recovery. But it's a very slow recovery. You can't go lifting heavy things, moving furniture around, lugging big bags of groceries, anything like that. You've got to really take it easy and be slow. And every day get a little better, walk a little more. You may end up in a week or two slowly, at no fast pace, walk down to the mailbox or walk around the block. Not half a mile or anything, just slowly get back to a normal lifestyle. And women are pretty good at that, but in general, men are very difficult. They They just want to overdo it.
Yeah.
And think they can do anything because 2 weeks ago they lift something heavy. They want to do it now. They've got to wait. And because it takes a while for these sewn together blood vessels to really heal and be one strong vessel. The other reason why you would do a bypass, why a stent would not work, you have a major vessel, they call it LAD for short, left arterial, that almost always requires a bypass. You would never use a stent on that. Most stents are designed for medium and smaller vessels, and this is a much wider, larger vessel. And a stent could actually, if it sticks out, could actually cause a blood clot in that vessel. Mm-hmm. You've got to do bypass, and stent is not a choice in that case, but only in that case. Now, I mentioned very briefly after the last session we had, I put out there's a recent laser therapy. That's only if the vessels are not super clogged because of cholesterol or calcium blocking the inside of the vessel, the lumen of the vessel, but it's if a vessel folds on itself or suddenly develops a curve like a spider vessel or something like that, where you see a vessel turning like S-shaped, that will cause an irregular heartbeat because it's not universal consistency like a straight vessel would be. So on something like that, a laser surgery, which is minimally invasive, almost nothing, it's an outpatient procedure, would be done in cases like that. A stent does not straighten out a vessel, and a bypass is really too risky to just eliminate the curve of a vessel. But this laser therapy is really excellent in cases like that. It's not a high percentage. It may be 20 or 30% of people that have circulation problems, but it's well worth it when it's the appropriate choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It is to have different, it seems like a wonder, actually, to have all these different options where years ago, what actually happened? You died, I guess.
That's true.
From the clogs in the arteries and whatever, and people just didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I was very upset this past summer. Our insurance representative, he also owns his own independent property insurance company. He passed away. He was like 62, and he was dead set on never going to a doctor for the rest of his life.
Oh, wow.
And he said, no, I just don't believe in him. There are too many mistakes that are made. And he has the problem that we all do, of media, where the accidents and mistakes that are made come across the news, but the tens of thousands and millions that are no mistakes, nobody hears about. All the news, all the advertising is when mistakes are made and there are problems. And don't be persuaded by all of these media things. Well, this guy never went to a doctor since he was 21, never got chemistry tests, never had blood pressure checked, and all of a sudden he was interviewing me. He stood up, he couldn't stand up, and he spun around and fell into the chair in front of me. And I said to his wife, "You better take him to the hospital." And she did. But 2 weeks later, he died.
Yeah.
And in his early 60s, and he wasn't a couch potato. He even walked and exercised, was a good handyman. He did the pool maintenance himself and a lot of little things. But when you don't have blood pressure regulated for years, this is what happens. It's a silent killer, high blood pressure, if you don't have it checked. So he could have had stents, he could have had bypass surgery, but I think it was just too late. He probably needed both, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And it's a very sad thing to see.
Yeah. It's a good point that you make about that. And also, Martha, the way that sometimes media over sensationalizes some of the things that are happening that are bad, when you know, like you said, there's so many doctors and nurses and procedures and techniques and stuff that can really help people. But do your research too. That's another thing.
That's right. I
mean, you say that. Do your research on where's a good place to have a specific thing.
Absolutely. And I couldn't agree with that more. And very honestly, there are some major medical centers, like here in Florida, there's the University of Miami Medical Center with Sylvester. There are Mayo Clinic up in Jacksonville. Well, they have teams of surgeons that do nothing but bypass surgeries day in and day out. And they have the exact same team of nurses, of doctors, of anesthesiologists, and they do a fast and beautiful job. They don't even need to say a word to one another. They all know what's next, and they all know how to do it. Where in a regional hospital and a county hospital, really, you want some people who you don't want people who do the surgery once or twice a month or a year or something like that. There's nothing like going to the experts who do it day in and day out, and they're aware of every possibility that can go wrong and how to fix it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you want. And I can't emphasize it enough.
Yeah, there are local hospitals, though. I mean, I know many people that have been to them that have phenomenal care for different instances. But yeah, you're right. Do your research. I mean, maybe the local hospital is the best one for you, but I'd say definitely ask a lot of questions if you have a serious thing like this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can't be too careful in your research. Even the surgeries I've had, you know, with the dear old Google computer, I look them up, how long they've been a surgeon, where they went to school.
Yeah.
The patient responds like a 5-star, a 3-star, a 1-star. You should know how all of these things happen before you sign up for a doctor. And it's all free to you right on Google to look up doctors and how they're respected and so forth. Google can make a mistake. Somebody or a patient can say the doctor was excellent, and it may have been excellent for them and then bad for the next 3 patients.
Yeah, that's...
Well, even that you can figure out, because Google gets several recommendations and takes the average of them and so forth. So you're given a lot of information. It is worth it. Don't just go to a doctor saying, oh, I go to this doctor and he seems very nice. And nice is not what you judge a doctor by.
Yeah.
I'm glad if they are likable, have a charismatic personality, but that's not what you're in for, and that's not what you're paying for.
Yeah.
You really look for good judgment and doctors who know what they're doing. So, and you're not going to know that with surgeons. None of us are. That's why you have to look it up on Google. And I would take advantage of that every single time. Now, in addition, I've got to say, like I told you, that main vessel, LAD, the left arterial vessel, which is a large one, don't try to ever recommend to a doctor to do a stent on that, because the stent is probably not large enough and will actually create a narrowing of that vessel. Bypass is the only way to do it, where the doctor takes out a larger vessel from your leg and makes the appropriate bypass. So, but there aren't very many like that. I'd say less than 5% of the bypass surgeries involve this major vessel, LAD. So it's not common, and don't worry about it. It's probably not in your case. The nice thing about larger vessels, it just like a main sewer line or an underground pipe, they're so much larger and they're flowing all the time that they are not the ones that tend to get clogged. The ones that get clogged are your capillaries, veins, small to medium size, mostly small veins and arteries. And so it doesn't take, and your brain is just filled with small veins and arteries, and that's why you get strokes on your brain cells. You rarely get a stroke in just your arm because the vessels aren't that small. So that makes a big difference. So no one's going to fool with an artery or a vein that is large, like your aorta, your iliac veins and arteries to your legs. So with that, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back very shortly. Stay with us. I want to introduce you to our main sponsor, Highland Plaza, located on US 1 on the east side of the Highland Drive traffic light. We even have our own left-hand turn lane. One of the places in there, the first one on the north side, is Easy Stop, and you will be surprised what competitive and beautiful prices they have. You should give it a shot. Also, Tony's Hairstyling Salon is ideal for the entire family at all ages. He and his wife have run a salon there for years with a huge following. Also, we want to tell you about La Taberna Restaurant. It has the freshest Mexican food in town and a well-experienced chef. You will be most surprised not only by the food, but the reasonable prices. Also, I want to tell you about the nail salon. It's Luxury Nails. Let me tell you, they do everything, both for walk-in clients and appointments. Appointments are really appreciated, but they treat all clients professionally. Now, I want to repeat to you, this is located on US 1, just east of Highland Drive at the traffic light. It's a beautiful yellow building with a maroon awning. We look forward to seeing you there. Come on over.
Ladies, are you looking for a change but just don't know how to get there? Don't miss the Women's Life Mastery event, a roadmap for change to becoming your best self. 10 fabulous women sharing their expertise for real ways to positive change. This holiday season, invest in yourself and register today to discover and become your best self. Breakfast, lunch, swag, and more. The Women's Life Mastery event, Saturday, January 13th at Joy Farms in Vero Beach. Visit CIAcertified.com today for more details. CIAcertified.com.
Right now at Sunshine Furniture, it's holiday sale time, so you can save up to 50% on selected groups of indoor and outdoor furniture from Lloyd Flanders, Telescope, Windward, Capri, Seawinds, Universal, and lots more. Sofas, love seats, dining sets, patio groups, occasional chairs, bedroom sets, all on sale just in time to make Santa say ho, ho, ho. Also, all pictures, lamps, and accessories are half off. And don't forget to visit our outlet and sales store just across the street from our main location for lots of great holiday bargains. Sunshine Furniture, 1295 US 1 in the Publix Plaza next to Planet Fitness in Vero Beach. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Sunshine Furniture brightens up your day. Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Ooh, have a sunshine day. Sunshine Furniture.
Advertising is essential. You've got to make people aware that you're there. We can do that with a cohesive marketing campaign from Evergreen Media. Based on your business goals, we'll create a mix of digital advertising on social media sites like Facebook, video advertising on streaming sites like Hulu and Paramount Plus, and supplement them with local TV and radio ads. Build awareness, educate, and inform the public with a cohesive marketing campaign by Evergreen Media. Check out egreenmedia.com or search online for Evergreen Media in Vero Beach.
And Martha's back with the Martha Matters.
Well, hi there, and welcome back. I want to emphasize, a lot of people ask questions, how many stents can I have? And there used to be a myth saying no more than 5 or 6. There's actually no limit. That is a myth. But let me tell you something. If over 10 years you have to have 6 or 8 stents, it's telling me you are not altering your diet.
Okay, yeah.
And you are not changing habits on what you eat and when you eat to improve the situation. You're obviously eating a lot of fat. You're eating high cholesterol, which is why we have these cholesterol medications, so fat will not line your blood vessels. Mm-hmm. Cholesterol is a type of fat, and it will clog your blood vessels and occlude it a bit, enough to make you weaker.
And you know what, Martha, from what I've known from my own doctors, because again, these are our opinions. We're not doctors or anything like that. It's just research and stuff we've done. People some generally have the ability to produce their own cholesterol, and there's really nothing that you can do to stop it. It's not necessarily your diet.
Yes, it's not. Well, it's certainly not all weight.
Okay.
I have I know of a realtor right here in town, a little petite lady. She weighs like 110 pounds, and a size 5. She looks like a perfect doll and could be easily a model. She has a cholesterol of over 400, and that is genetic. Mm-hmm. And yes, you can take medications. Besides statins, they now have newer ones that will lower the cholesterol. She obviously has to take those medications, but it's not used to diet. In that case, if you're that skinny, mm-hmm. You're stuck with a bad inherited DNA. Now, I've got to also say that I think you can do a lot with diet, and that will be another issue at another event. But let me tell you, diet. In real estate, we use the word location for a good home. Mm-hmm. In medicine, we say diet. You can have ice cream on your birthday, cake and everything else, but don't have it week after week, day after day. You can have sausage stuffed mushrooms for Christmas, but don't have it every week thereafter. So with that in mind, we've got to sign off, and any questions, call Evergreen Radio Station and I'll answer them.